Unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, commonly called drones, are used in areas from warfare and border enforcement to tracking wildfires and crop dusting. Their rising popularity comes with concerns over privacy and accountability. Here with diverse perspectives on the dilemma of drone use are Larry Hinman, professor of philosophy at USD, and Lucian Miller, CEO of Innovative Designs in San Diego. Welcome.
A pleasure to be here.
Larry, one of the main ethical concerns around military drone use is the incidence of civilian casualties. How accurate are drones at hitting their targets?
You know, intuitively, you'd think that they were very accurate, but the most recent studies indicate that still manned aircraft are more accurate than their drone counterparts. There was an article just in the Department of Defense journal PRISM just a few months ago about that.
So the concerns over civilian casualties are
they
legitimate.
Still remain, yeah.
Okay. And Lucian, your company makes drones and UAVs. You've brought them here. They're one and the same. Tell us about what you've brought today.
Well, we've brought three examples of some of the models that we produce. This is actually a prototype of a new system that we're developing that could be used by SWAT teams or something, police departments, if they needed to get a inside view of a room. You could throw a brick through a window, fly this craft in there, and then with a small little video receiver, you could pan around the room, see what's going on, and then get right back out to find out, like if you had a hostage situation or if you needed to find out what kind of guns people had in a room or something, you could do that.
And what about that big one to the right of you there? What's
this
that?
one over here, this is our Navigator 800 millimeter hex craft. And this one's primarily used for people that are doing photography, like wedding photography, real estate photography, or action sports photography. People will take these out to places like Glamis when they're running their dirt bikes up and down the sand dunes to get that really cool eye in the sky perspective that you can't get any other way.
You have a story about how a drone was used recently in Canada that was non-military.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Back on May 6th of this year in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, there was a reported case of a gentleman who had run his car off the road and flipped the car and was ejected from the vehicle. Didn't have a coat on, and when he was thrown out, he pulled his shoes off. And all he had in his pocket was a cell phone. Well, he called the Canadian equivalent of 911, reported the situation. But because he was out so far, it took a while for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to get there. When they arrived, they found his car, but the guy was nowhere to be found. Well, it just so happened that this group had one of the new Dragonfly X4 quadcopters, very similar in size to the one we have down here, on the floor in front of us, that was equipped with an infrared camera system that could see heat signatures. So they put that thing up, searched around, and within minutes they found a bright white dot at the base of a snowbank about 600 feet away from the car. They sent the Mounties over. They found the guy. He was already suffering from late stages of hypothermia. He was curled up in a ball, unresponsive.
The drone, or the UAV.
The UAV was able to find him, and they rushed him to the hospital, and he made a full recovery. Had they not had that there, he could have died, from freezing to death overnight.
Well, Larry, clearly it can be used for good, but there are concerns over accountability. Tell us about those.
Well, part of the issue, I think what we face as a challenge is how to move forward in a way that will get the good uses and let the harmful uses drop off to the side. In the military context, that's harder. In the civilian context, I think you've got some tremendous possibilities of very cost-effective uses of unmanned aerial vehicles that would be really exciting.
And then that brings up, Lucian, the question of privacy. What do you want to say to people and critics that say, look, this is an invasion of privacy? If the police are flying this over my backyard, it's against our constitutional rights to privacy. What do you say to people who have that argument?
There's already laws on the books for, anti-voyeurism, anti-peeping Tom, for privacy and things like that. There are police helicopters every day flying over people's houses that could look at your yard and find something in your yard. This technology it's not used in a persistent manner. It's used on an as-needed basis. The typical flight times of these aircraft with the batteries that they come with is only 10 to 15 minutes. So it's not like a policeman's going to be driving down the road and looking in the window of every house down the street. It's made so that when you come to a situation where you need an eye-in-the-sky view to get a tactical advantage of a situation, you can deploy the small UAV, get it up in the air, see what you need to do in 5 or 6 minutes, and then land it. That's what the purpose of this stuff is. So you're not going to see, you know, policemen driving down the road all night, peeping in your bedroom window and wondering what you're doing.
All right, well, there's so much more to discuss about this. And certainly on our website, people can find that conversation, kpbs.org. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.